Welcome to episode 3 of Campy Night. I'm going to start off by talking about the fact that I ate at movies. That's where I got this. Kevin Smith was doing pop-up restaurants for movies, so you could actually eat at the restaurant from Dogma and Clerks 2, and it actually tastes like piss and flies. We all thought it was a joke when Jay says that in Clerks 2, but it was real shitty. I mean, it was a cool idea. And it's nice that I've eaten at a fictional restaurant, but it was real gross. Anyway, today we're going to talk about The Night Comes for Us. I thought I'd change gears a little bit. I've been talking about horror the last couple times, and so I wanted to go a little bit of a different direction, but let's be fair, this is an action movie that has horror level violence. So it's really not that far out of the bracket. Before I get into this, I want to tell you like a weird story that reminds me of every time, because my wife refers to every martial arts movie as a kung fu movie. She's like, "You watching kung fu movies again? Why are you doing this?" And that always reminds me of Ryan Eugene Daniels. When we were in the Marine Corps, Ryan and I would go to movies pretty much every week. We'd watch almost everything that came out, but every now and then we get picky, because it's close to payday or whatever the reason happens to be. And one time, he was like, "Let's go see this movie called Kung Pao." And that mother to this day still owes me an apology for that. And the thing is he's apologized several times, but he'll never be able to apologize enough. Ryan. And for those of you that are keeping count, that came out in 2001. That's 20 years of bitterness. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk about The Night Comes for Us. This is an Indonesian action movie that was directed by, and for the record, if someday somebody watches this and realizes that I've butchered all of these names, I apologize. So this was directed by Timo Tjahjanto. It's Tjahjanto. And it starred Iko Uwais and Joe Taslim and Julia Still. Okay? Now, I absolutely adore Iko Uwais. He is from The Raid 2, Headshot. Headshot was also directed by Timo Tjahjanto, and The Raid actually also featured Joe Taslim. They kind of all stick together. They all make the movies together. Now, Raid and Raid 2 were directed by Gareth Evans, but then Timo came in and did Headshot, and then he did The Night Comes for Us. This is an unbelievably violent action movie, and it is wonderful. This is a very simple plot. Joe Taslim is part of the Seven Seas, basically like a mafia type thing, and he does not do the last kill that he's supposed to do. Instead, he saves a little girl because he's ultimately just trying to save that last bit of humanity in himself, and she's the representation of that. And Iko Uwais is the villain. They were friends growing up, and then they went separate ways, and now Iko looks at this as his chance to get in as one of the Seven Seas if he can kill Joe. And so this is a bloody and violent action movie, because Timo, he did Headshot, but then he also does horror. He has a Netflix original called May the Devil Take You on Netflix right now, that is definitely horror, and actually stars a couple of the people from Headshot, and they kind of keep all this, like a lot of similar actors, so you see the same faces a lot, like Zach Lee. Zach Lee plays Bad Boy Bobby in The Night Comes for Us, but he also is in he's in The Raid 2. He was in Headshot. He was in Gondola. he's really awesome. He tends to be the side character in some of these movies, but I actually think his acting is really well done. But this is fantastic. For those of you that don't know who Joe Taslim is, you may have seen him in, well, he was in Star Trek Beyond, but not going to recognize that face. And then he was in Fast and the Furious 6. That's the one where the whole crew did a bunch of stuff that you can't actually do in real life if you acknowledge physics. That's not to be mistaken with Fast 5, 7, or 8, where those are about the crew doing things that they literally can't do in real life if you acknowledge physics. I know it seems similar because they're all the same movie. Not the point. Anyway, so The Night Comes for Us is fantastic, but you do have to acknowledge the fact that this is horror level violence in an action movie. You might even look away, but the point, actually, I think the reason I'm telling you about any of this movie is so that I can tell you about Julie Estelle. The Night Comes for Us has 3 of the most badass women that I have ever seen in any action movie, in any language. They are dangerous as shit and unbelievably violent, and they are fantastic. But the highlight is Julie Estelle. She shows up as this mystery agent, like CIA, FBI, like one of the letters. You know, she shows up as one of them, and she lays waste to like an entire apartment complex of people by herself. Like, she is easily the baddest woman I have ever seen in action cinema, and that should be celebrated. Like, if anything, anyone that watches this movie, that's going to be your takeaway. You're going to be like, oh my god, why is the movie not about her? Like, she should be the highlight. Like, she should be the reason that movie's made. Like, if you don't give me a sequel with her, I'm going to be pissed. Like, I would watch the whole movie. I don't even know what she does. I don't even know why she was there. The plot's, it's not a crazy plot. It's not real in depth. So maybe they could have gone over that a little more, but doesn't matter because it's just unbelievably violent. The only thing that you have to, I guess, turn your brain off for a little bit is the fact that pretty much every character in this movie would have died like 30 times before the end of this movie. Like, they get shot, they get stabbed, they get, like, things cut off. They're still alive. And they're just like, oh, that kind of hurt. And then when they get into the fight scene, like, it's kind of like, oh my god, I totally forgot I got stabbed like 6 times earlier today. But if you can turn that part off, it's phenomenal. This is a Netflix original. If you've watched The Raid or The Raid 2, this absolutely should be on your watch list. If you like horror and action, and those are your go-tos, then this should 100% be in your watch list. That's pretty much all I have to say. Like, if you see Iko Uwais in any movie, watch that movie. Okay, oh right, hold on. Okay, now that I said that though. So Mile 22, not the best movie. Nobody owes me an apology for Mile 22, but I don't know. When Peter Berg gets together with Mark Wahlberg, they just kind of churn out whatever the fuck it is they make together. Like, he talks fast, he kills people, there's a twist, the movie's over. It's whatever. But he was still great. Iko Uwais was still great to watch in that movie. So pretty much, if you see that name, watch that. And then Joe Taslim, he's going to be Sub-Zero in the new Mortal Kombat movie that they're actually taking seriously and making violent and worthwhile. So 100% watch the stuff that's him. So anyway, if you didn't know about these guys or these types of movies before, feel free to watch any of the ones I've mentioned and you should be pretty entertained. That's all. Have a great night.